In this demo, you will get to know how to analyze UI performance test results in Career. First, open Performance section and UI tab and select report that you want to analyze. Usually it is last report. Let's open it. First, we will look for Lighthouse report. Lighthouse and Sitespeed report, they are different only with HTML version of report. Report contains summary section with aggregated information. Also, it contains graphs and summary table. Let's start from the summary. So, total pages and average load time. Definitely should be some number here and some value here, yeah, and it will be. So, miss threshold, we don't have a threshold set up, so it is true that it is 0 miss threshold because we don't have them. The number of loops was 2, and aggregations it was specified in test setup. So we have statistics for status. It will be also either successful or failed uh, by quality gates if they are set up. Duration, started and date time, and other information like desktop environment, tags, and browser config, what browser was used for this test. Uh, Graphical information. We can choose any loop and analyze statistics separately, or we can choose all. In that case, statistics will be aggregated. So, in metric, we can choose any metric that for that we want to see the graph. Here we can specify individual metrics and also select or either one user action or several user actions at the same time. So another way how we can analyze it is bar chart. Here it is for 2 runs. Bar chart is convenient from the point that we see all metrics together on the one graph, and we see relation of time spent for every metric and for every loop. It can be either individually analyzed by loop or together. Also on bar chart we have the line from the first graph, and the line will be reflected for the metric that is specified in the drop-down. And the table, it reflects summary for every user action for all rounds. We can specify the first loop, for example, and we will see user operations only from the first run. We have statistic load time, DOM, time to interactive, first contentful paint, largest contentful paint, largest contentful paint, cumulative layout sheet, total blocking time, first visual change, and last visual change. We have two type of pages here. It is like pages and actions. Page, it is in user action when full page is reloaded. Action when page is redrawn but page wasn't reloaded fully. For pages, we have statistics for all metrics. For actions, we have only cumulative layout shift and total blocking time. Here it is 0. Because of that, it is not reflected. And yes, so and for every action also we have the report. So it is aggregated report for all metrics generally. Yeah. So for different runs, it will be different report. Right now, we opened the first run. Metrics section here contains reflects the information about primary metrics to consider during analysis. Right now, we see that everything looks green, so everything looks fine. For actions, as I said, we have total blocking time and cumulative layout shift, and that's it. But still, there are some hints and ways how to analyze the performance and time of rendering of actions as well. Interesting section it is film strip. It is useful to understand how uh, your page was changing during reloading. So here we see that the first screenshot was empty and others looks like um, the same. Every screenshot represents the state of the page in every 300 milliseconds. So it means that this screenshot 300 milliseconds, this is 600 milliseconds. And very often we can see that several first screenshots that they are empty or we see that it is drawn very small amount of information and it is indication for us how long and in what seconds or milliseconds what components were drawn. The drawback of this view that these pictures can't be zoomed in, so sometimes it is not visible what exactly was going on there. But what is important from a film strip section to understand um, in what time um, you got final screenshot. And this information can be get from other source of information. The next sections it is diagnostics. Diagnostics. So it is called like diagnostics and audits. In this section, we have both post audits and some opportunities to improve if uh, there are such opportunities. In this case, we are proposed to enable text compression for the following resource. And we see the transfer sizes. 15 kilobytes and potential saving 13 kilobytes. Also in diagnostics, we have recommendation keep request count low and transfer size is small. It found that one document 16 kilobytes and decided that it is too much. Not always these recommendations will be true. It is like they are true, but it doesn't mean that 16 kilobytes it is the large size for your application. Every recommendation should be analyzed separately for particular application. Past audits, it is a lot of information here. So JavaScript execution time, every recommendation, by the way, and every past audit, you can expand and to see detailed information about what this recommendation it is. Mhm. So, and the same information we have for accessibility, for uh, best and best practices. The most interesting section for performance analyst, it is the first one, it is performance. So, to get more information about performance, it is possible to use HTML report, but in other format in JS console. We can click for Windows, it is F12 to open console and to expand Lighthouse JSON report. So to see metrics, we need to expand steps and move to the tab we are interested in. For example, let's look step 0 in our case, navigate only. One of the useful metrics to analyze, it is a final screenshot. Let's open audits and they are sorted, metrics audits are sorted here by in alphabetical order, so it is rather convenient to find it. So final screenshot and details, and we have time in here. What means that in 525 milliseconds after this user action was triggered, we got final screenshot. For us, it means that the page was fully loaded and nothing happened after this time. The same thing we can check for other action. For example, first one action, audit, and final screenshot, details and timing. And we see that the number here is rather large because the action here, it was scrolling. And if you look at film strip, you will see that every screenshot is different. And here it is not all screenshots, and we don't see here, by the way, final screenshot because um, this timestamp is less than 9 seconds, even 10 seconds that we have in final screenshot. Also, useful metrics. It may be useful audits to look at. It can be network request in details, in items, and also here we have only one URL. But when several URLs or requests are done under this user action, then you will see statistics for every for every backend request with start time and time. Um, Also useful statistics for resource size, transfer size, and what value is important here? It is end time. From all network requests, you can find the request with the largest end time, and it means that till the time the backend was involved. And after that period, everything was happening only on UI. So it means that for us, last end time for network request was 600 milliseconds, and other 9 seconds we were doing scrolling without any network activity. Another useful metric can be here it is network server latency as well for every network request. We can see network server latency. And other metrics in audit also can be analyzed here if you will need that. And after analyzing one loop, you need to move to analysis of the second loop. And open report here and analyze it as well in the same way. Let's look for the test for Sitespeed report. It looks absolutely the same in terms of carrier report. Sitespeed report. Again, we have summary statistics for 3 loops. Also, we have graphs, table, and we can open Sitespeed report by clicking on the report link. One of the main pages here, it is page that describes URLs and statistics for every URL triggered. First visual change, last visual change, transfer size, total request, it is for backend requests, JavaScript, CSS, image transfer size, and coach performance score. From here, you can navigate to every page for further analysis. And let's go to one of it. Summary contains result summary with all metrics overview. We have summary table, we have timings summary, especially very useful metrics here. It is visual complete for different percentile because last visual change very often doesn't reflect reality. So visual metrics may be useful. Next section, it is waterfall. Waterfall contains API breakdown and time for every backend request. From here, you can assess what part of time was spent for API and resource downloading. You can click to every request separately to see details about request response. Main request is PHP here, duration 500 milliseconds. After we had index PHP, index PHP captcha downloaded, right, and checked login was the last resource. And we see that last visual change was far away from reality, but let's check what was going on UI. We have one more page with metrics. It contains additional metrics that are not displayed on pages page, and they can be analyzed additionally if required. Navigation timing applicable only for pages rather than for actions. Information about largest contentful paint. And let's go to the next section. It is video. Video can be watched here, what was going on, and with reflection of the time for every metric. Here, we can even download the video. Film strip. It is similar situations that we had in Lighthouse, but the plus here is that we can open this picture. Mhm. And also that we will see all screenshots, no matter how long the page was being loaded. And we are using film strip to see the time when any element was rendered. We see that in 300 milliseconds we had first visual change. After that, it is not visible that something is going on, but something is going on. And on this page, we see that some error looks like happened. In 1 second still, we see that something changed on the page. It is capture rate. And after that moment, no any changes are visible. So because of that, we see that visual complete 99%. Here it is 1 second. And this time can be considered as fully loaded page. Next section, it is coach that can be used as a source of recommendations and improvements. We can click show details and we will see recommendations in details view. Sometimes these recommendations can be useful. Well, it is the most important thing that you need to know about analysis of UI report, not only in Carrier but also in Lighthouse HTML report and Sitespeed HTML report. And at that point, we are finishing our demo, how to analyze UI report in Carrier. And thanks for watching this video.